Okay, this is day number 3 of my 90-day experiment with journaling on YouTube to hopefully find a community that can move the needle. Honestly, I've spent, I don't know, a very long portion of my life not moving the needle. So when I say 90 days out loud, that seems like a long time, but I don't really think it is comparatively to what I've already not done. So here we are. My journal is about how I'm in one place in time and I want to get to another place in time. Maybe I'm notable to you, maybe I'm not. I travel full time. I house sit for people. I look after their pets. And I have a remote job that is unfulfilling in sales. I hate sales. It's funny because I want to be an entrepreneur, and every time I hear about really successful business folks, um, the one skill that they all start out with doing is sales. So if you're not a good salesperson, then apparently you can't be successful in business. I mean, I guess becoming a singer songwriter is a business in and of its own. I mean, look at the most famous one of all time, arguably Taylor Swift. Um, I'm assuming she's pretty good at sales, and whatever capacity that you have to be good at sales in as a singer songwriter. So, I mean, you just have to know the industry in and out. I suppose it's like anything. I am in this transitional period where we're thinking about buying a van. Um, I'm all about a sailboat personally. I think it would be so cool to be able to sail, you know, being climatically comfortable. So in the wintertime, you sail towards the equator. In the summertime, you sail away from the equator. Just that concept to me is really cool. It's also lonesome sounding, but again, if you work remote and any capacity, you probably already deal with being lonely in some regard. And so finding your community is another thing that I'm looking forward to with uh, starting this journaling. Is I would really love it if people would reach out and connect. Even if you don't think that what I'm looking for is something that you have to offer, um, just a comment. I will respond to every comment that I get during this 90-day period. So if you are interested in learning more about how to save money traveling full time, that's what I bring to the table. I mean, my wife and I, we don't pay the largest bill that most people pay every month, and that's a mortgage or rent. We live for free for the most part. The occasional hotel room when we can't make, sits overlap. And yes, we do both work remote. So if you are already working remote and you want to travel more, then definitely check out Trusted House Sitters. That's the platform we use, but there's so many platforms out there that you can check out. There's platforms that are good for other countries, and we also use credit card points to get free hotel stays. And I can talk to you about that if you're interested. Really, I'm just trying to offer my services in exchange for some little inkling of information regarding how to put a band together, how to do so traveling full time, which has really been one of the hardest things I think I've done is try to put a life together that's already in motion. Like I already move all the time. So I want that to be a boon. I don't want that to be a bust for me. And the regards of I'm mobile. So if I meet the right person on here that wants to have a face to face and we really click, looking forward to that. And there's a good chance that I can just temporarily get to wherever you are if the right house it comes available for an extended period of time, whatever that might look like. So, with that being said, today was kind of a weather-wise. It was a rainy day, and I've been busy all day, and I don't really know where it's gone. I was able to write another song today, so that was really great. I've written like a couple songs in a couple days, so actually mentally I'm quite tired, and I think that's pretty much where my energy has gone. Um, and I have started a new bedtime routine, which is just saying three things that I'm grateful for before I go to bed, and then I don't look at any electronics, and I just close my eyes and I ask the universe for one thing that I want tomorrow. And this is going to sound cheesy, but I've been doing this for 3 days now, and maybe I'm not asking for enough because every day the next thing comes true. It's kind of cool. The next thing that I want actually happens. So maybe I'll go to bed tonight, and I'll ask for $1 million tomorrow, and maybe that'll happen. That'd be pretty neat. But um, I guess that brings me to the other thing that I kind of have a little bit of knowledge about. Like, if you are curious about like overarching methodologies for retirement vehicles, we could also chat. I'm not licensed. I don't pretend to be. You can't hold me liable for anything that I say in that regard. I don't give advice. I can just tell you from my personal experiences. So, if you're interested in that too. Um, Other than that, I said that I would talk on my videos for 20 minutes for 90 days with the goal of just moving the needle forward. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to get the thoughts that are in my head out of my head, out into the world, and see who's interested in picking them up and running with it. Because I think I mentioned this in my very first video. It's not what you know; it's who you know. And I've been trying to find success on my own for so long now that I've not moved the needle much, and that's where it's just time for me to create a community. And this is one of my attempts at creating that community. So I do sing, I play the ukulele, and I write my own songs. And if you're interested in hearing them, I'm happy to share. I'm looking for a full band sound, basically: bass, a drummer, guitar, a tambourinist. I mean, anything, literally whatever you play. If you're interested in maybe forming something, I don't know if it's gonna look like it's virtual to begin with. I'm sure people do that. I'm sure people do make bands that are completely virtual, and we just get the right software set up and pipe in our instruments together, and we figure it out. And if we hit it big enough and we actually want to get together and start touring, then I would be down with that too. So I'm pretty much game for whatever. I There's something about getting closer to middle age, and you stop caring what people think, and you start doing what it is that you want to do. I think it's because maybe you've seen enough death, like you've had enough time to see enough people in your life pass, that you're like, not invincible. I'm starting to notice that my body hurts. I'm starting to notice that I really enjoy stretching more than ever and getting enough fiber in my diet. Like, when did my favorite part of the day become drinking a delicious cup of coffee and going to the bathroom? I swear to God, it's the best part of my day. You wake up, you drink a big old glass of water, you sit on the couch with your, hopefully, somebody else. You enjoy a delicious cup of coffee, and then you just go, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And it's fucking, excuse my French. Mwah. Maybe that's Italian, or is that a French? I don't know. So yeah, basically, I would argue that so far every decade my life does get better, which is, I'm very blessed in that regard. Um, because I just do more and more what I want to do, and I do less and less what other people want to do. It like basically comes down with learning how the game works. The game being um, you know, the value of money and living underneath how whatever amount of money that you make, it doesn't matter how much money you make as long as you live underneath it. Like that's it. And it, so you're sold this dream. I did it for a decade. This hustle, blah blah blah, because I had a big house and had 5 cars and a pool and 3 cats and parties all the time, and it was exhausting. It, it just it wasn't fulfilling, and that's fine. It's kind of realizing like what fills your cup, and for me, it's so simple. I'm just like, let me sing, let me play, let me write my own stuff, let me travel, let me drink good coffee, let me eat good food, let me make good love, and have good friends and family. I mean, that's it. That is like, you don't need any of that fancy stuff. But maybe you do. Maybe that's really what fills your cup. I just saw, you see this today? Maserati uh, sold out of their newest Century sports bike, and the price is $165,000. Like, wow. Okay. Hey, if you if your heart like sings when you're riding a sports bike, that's amazing. I that's fantastic. I mean, like I dirt bike growing up. It was like the thrill of a lifetime. So people love that kind of thing, and that's huge. But but if you're one of those people who just bought the bike because it's what everybody else was doing and you couldn't really afford it or whatever, and it doesn't really bring you that much joy, then I would say stop comparing yourself to the Joneses. Just take as long as it takes to figure out what makes you happy, what brings you real, deep, fulfilling joy. What's that thing or things? It's usually a conglomeration of things. So I want to talk about healthcare so bad, but I also don't want to get be held liable for my views on the broken healthcare system that we have in this country. But I've got to work around. So if you're interested in that too, reach out to me directly. We can talk about, because healthcare, that's another thing that just eats your lunch in this country. So if you're interested in my interesting take on it, I've got a couple different methodologies for not basically lighting your money on fire to make sure that you have health insurance when you're under the age of 65 and you don't work for an employer that has health insurance. So, yeah, I don't know. I am getting most of the stuff out of my head. I think this little trick of getting on here and just talking, knowing that there's the opportunity, there's the possibility that somebody's going to hear something in this diatribe of a monologue I'm throwing out that's going to have someone reach out to me in whatever fashion they feel called to do. Because that's really all I'm looking for. I mean, sure, it's nice to get what's in my head out of my head, but it's way better when there's actually some kind of mutual connection, helping one person help the other person, vice versa. So that's really the intent of this whole experiment. I know that there's enough people in the world basically where everybody could just talk and find enough people that find them interesting enough for long enough that you can create a community of reciprocity and meaning, and so I'm leaning into that because I truly believe that, in that there's access to platforms like YouTube are only going to continue to increase as far as the amount of people that can get on it, and the things that I say may intrigue enough people that I can sustain this indefinitely, and that's kind of the goal. There's other platforms out there, but they move too fast, and there's too many stipulations, and it just seems like a lot of work for not a lot of fulfillment. And that's social media companies. They're somebody's dream. Like somebody had to have a dream to create them, and so I respect that person's dream. Like I'm glad that you realized your dream. Doesn't mean that I have to be a part of it. I don't have to partake in certain social media platforms. It's my choice. I'm allowed to choose that because I derive more utility and enjoyment, life satisfaction out of not being on social media at all, or maybe being on social media in some limited capacity. But they are also tools. They're learning mechanisms, which is fantastic. As we go through these 20 minutes every day for the next 90 days, I'm sure you'll get to know me more in that I'm a macro type of guy. I think that's why I'm so bad at entry level, like fresh out of college jobs, because they're a lot of times they're detail oriented, and you know, if you're not interested in if you're not innately interested in those types of things, those little details, you're probably not going to be highly successful at that type of work, and that's fine. I mean, I the older I get, I'm really subscribed to this model of like, if you have a passion, you have an interest, and it really feels like it's coming from inside of you, like deep, just do that thing. That's There was a time not so long ago, our brains are still wired for this, where we lived in groups and we were nomadic, and nobody really specialized. Everybody was a bit of a generalist. But we don't live in that world anymore. We live in a specialization world. We live in a niche world, because if there's enough of us each doing the thing that makes us sing, metaphorically speaking, then you can always find the person that you need help with that already does it, because it just makes them sing. It just fills their cup. So just go ahead and do the thing that fills your cup and do it really well, and people will find you and they'll ask for the service or the product that you offer. That is now the society that we live in, just so everybody knows. So you can feel confident going forward, not having to be a generalist working for somebody else. You can be a specialist and work for yourself if you want to. I know working for yourself is scary. Being an entrepreneur is scary. But you can't go to, I don't know if you guys know this, but I didn't know this. You can't go to jail in this country because of debt. I don't know if you knew that. So I think a lot of times potential entrepreneurs are scared to try something, because if they take out a loan and then they fail and then they can't repay their loan, you might have a lien put on I don't know, your estate or something, or your house. They can't touch retirement usually, but you won't go to jail. And so for any entrepreneur or wannabe entrepreneur that might listen to this, just want you to know that. Now you can double check me on that. Again, I'm not responsible for any of the decisions you make based on the information that I provide you, but you can double check that. So have confidence going into that. All right, well, that's 20 minutes. So day number 3 books.